In this video, I'm going to walk through a few sample practice problems taken from Chapter 8 to demonstrate how to do an inner join and how to troubleshoot as you're working through your inner joins. Let's first take a look at the sales order database. Question 1 on page 289. List customers and the dates they placed in order, sorted in date order sequence. To start this problem, I'm going to open Databases. I know that I'm working with the sales order example, and I'm going to create a new database diagram. I'm dealing with customers and orders. I want customers and the date they placed orders. I'm going to guess that I need the customers table and the orders table. If I'm wrong, I'm going to come back and adjust my database diagram. I'll add these two tables and close. My customer information is in my customer table, and my order date information is in the orders table. Now, to really try to help you understand how this works, I'm going to move these tables around a bit. Customers is the one side of the relationship. One customer may have many orders, but an instance of an order is written for one and only one customer. We have the primary key of customer ID on the customer side, the foreign key of customer ID on the order side. So I'm going to use the snipping tool, and I'm going to use the snipping tool to help me create a database diagram that I can use as I create my SQL statement. So I'm going to select my two tables here. Now, this is a snipping tool. It's present in every version of Windows since Vista, and it's spelled S-N-I-P-P-I-N-G. So to find it, you can go to your Start menu and start keying in snipping, and when it comes up, if you've never used it before, or if you've used it before and never thought of this, pin it to your taskbar so you can get to it instantly. Now I'm going to start with selecting the fields with a highlighter. These are the fields that I want in my results. I want the customer name, so I'm going to take first name and last name, and I want the order date. So those are the fields that I want. Now I'm going to use a pen, and I'm going to choose my red pen, and I'm going to take customer ID in the customers table and link it to customer ID in the orders table, primary key to foreign key. Now, there are situations where you will not be using this technique, but for what we're doing right now, this is the technique that will work for you. I'm going to take this and just simply slide it to the side. And when I slide it to the side, you're not going to be able to see it very well on my screen anymore, but I'm going to leave a little bit of it sitting there so that you know it's there, because I want to get to my tables underneath of it. So now that I've created my database diagram and I know how this is going to work, I'll create a new query, and I'm going to use the sales order example, execute. Now I'm going to start my query. I'm going to select, I'm going to bring this through here, first name and last name from the customers table. I'm going to use aliases. So when I use my alias, what makes sense? I'm going to grab this here. It makes sense for me to call customers C and orders O. So that's the alias. Those are the aliases that I'm going to use for my tables. So I'm going to select C dot customer name. So I'm going to have customer first name, comma, C dot customer last name, and I'm going to leave it like this for right now. From customers as C. Let's run it and see what happens. I have 27 rows. Let's check our query. I'm going to select star from customers, and while I'm at it here, I'm also going to do this with a select all, which is the star, from orders. And I'll run these two. In the customers, I have 27 rows. In orders, I have 944 rows. Just helps me understand what I'm looking at. Order number is the primary key field in the order table. 944. So now I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to build on my query. And I'll use tabs here to try to really draw attention to the different lines. We're going to inner join orders as O on what? Primary key to foreign key. C dot customer ID equal O dot customer ID. Let's run it and see what we come up with. My customers have placed 944 orders. Does that make sense? I have 944 orders, so I'm moving in the right direction. I'm also looking for the date on which these customers placed these orders. So I'll come back and I'll add order date. And sometimes the IntelliSense will open up right away, and sometimes it takes a little bit once it comes in. Okay, let's try it again. Now I have order date. So I have fulfilled the requirements of the query to show customer first name, customer last name, order date. Now I can go back in and I can do more to this query if it's required, because now I know that my query is working. So what if I want to show order date as a date? I can come in and I can cast order date as date. Let's try it again. It's working, but I have no column name. Let's try it again with an alias. Okay, working. Now, I hope what you're seeing here is that I'm doing this step by step, because at each point, if I create an error, I know where my error is. If you simply key in the entire SQL statement and you get to the end and it doesn't run, where is your error? So those of you that have taken another class from me know that one of my mantras is make it work, then make it pretty. And so we made the query work. We got our output. Now we're making it pretty. And so now I might want to come in here and say plus, and I want to concatenate the first and the last name. Let's try it again. And now I'm going to need an alias on that. And we'll try it again. And it's working. So here what we've done is we started with an educated guess as to where our fields lived. We want customer information and order date. And I believed that the customer information would be in the customer table and the order date would be in the orders table. And so I guessed and I was right. If I were not correct, I would keep looking until I found the proper tables that I needed to place in this, to use in the join. Then I highlighted the fields that I'm going to use. Next, I found the way in which these tables are joined. They're joined from the primary key on the one side of the relationship to the foreign key on the many side of the relationship. And that's what this is telling me right here. I gave each table an alias. This is C. This is O. I moved this to the side where I could use it as I crafted my query. I checked my query at every step of the way, and then when I knew the query was working, then I went back in and I cast the order date as a date, got that to work, added the alias. Then I went back and I concatenated the first name and the last name, got that to work, and added the alias. And I did this one step at a time. I checked my work all the way along so that I would always know where my error is. My error would be in the last step. Since it's working, stops working. I'll give you an example. I add the alias and I accidentally put a space between full and name, and I try running, I get an error. However, that was the last thing I did, and up until that point I knew that my query was running correctly. So when I get this keyword full, I can immediately see I put a space in there. I'll try it again, and I get it to work. So go through this query in the book and give it a try.
In this next segment, we'll look at question number 3, display all orders, the products in each order, and the amount owed for each product in order number sequence. So let's start with a new query. And I'm going to look at the sales order example. And I need to create my diagram, new database diagram. And I want orders and products. Generally, you cannot get directly from orders to products. There'll be a table in between, a linking table, and that is often called order details or something like that. So I'm going to want orders, order details, and products, and I'll add those. Orders related to order details, related to products. This is a many-to-many relationship. With an order may contain many products, and a product can be on many orders. To dissolve our many-to-many relationship, we create a linking table. In this case, it's called order details. The tables are related with the primary key, order number, to the foreign key, which is part of a composite primary key in the order details, and from product number, it's a primary key in the products table, to product number in the order details table, which is the foreign key and part of a composite primary key. I'm going to do as I've done in the last segment. I'm going to create a picture of this by using my snipping tool. I'm going to mark the fields that I want in my output, and I'm going to indicate how my tables are connected. So I've been asked to show all the order information, display all the orders. So I'm going to take order number, order date. I'm also going to take product number from the order details, product name from products. I want the quoted price as well, and the quantity ordered. So I need the products table because I want the product name. If I could get by with just product number, I wouldn't need the product table. Now I'm going to connect these with order number to order number and product number to product number. I'm going to give the order table an alias of O, the order details table an alias of OD, and the products table an alias of P. Now I know what fields I need and where those fields come from and how my tables are related, and I will start my query. So I'm going to use the sales order example, and I'm going to start with the orders table. So I'll select, and I'll take my orders, my fields. I need order number and order date. So I'll take from the orders table order number, and I'm going to give that O dot order number, comma, O dot order date. And again, I'm going to stop adding fields here and add my table in and check my work. From orders as O. Let's see what we get. 944 rows. Now I'm going on to the next part. I'm going to inner join order details on order number. I'm doing this in sequence. I'm going from the orders to order details to products. Inner join order details as OD on orders order number equal order details order number. And now I'm going to bring in a field from the order details table, so OD dot product number, and we'll run it again and see if we're still tracking. Okay, now I've joined orders with order details, and I'm still tracking. Now I'm going to go on to my next one. Inner join the product table as P on OD dot product number equal P dot product number. And I need the product name, so I'm going to go ahead and add it, and I actually want it between order date and product number, so I'll add it in there. P dot product number, comma, got to get the OD back in there, and let's see if we're still tracking. Now I have 3,975 rows. The example in the book tells me I should have 3,975 rows, but let's look at what we've done here so far. We've connected orders to order details to products. So essentially what we're doing is we're looking at the order and the order details, and we're bringing in the product name from the products table. So we want to be able to see the product name, and if I brought in the product name, we would. So let me fix that one. Now we'll try it again. That looks a little better. See, in double checking my work, I did find my mistake. And then we want the price, the quantity ordered, and we want a calculated field. So now that we're working, let's keep moving forward with this. And we want order details, quoted price, and order details, quantity ordered, and we're tracking. Move this to a new line, and I'm going to put my calculation in. Since I'm tracking now, I know that my tables are connected, my joins are working, and now I'll add my calculation. Order details, quoted price, times order details, quantity ordered, as amount owed. Let's give this a try. We're still working, and we'll go ahead and cast it as money. And let's try it again. And it's looking like it's working, but before we move on, let's take a look and make sure that it makes sense. So 1200 times 2 is 2400. And 55 times 3 is 165. So I'm just doing a couple of calculations in my head to make sure that I actually perform my calculation correctly. So we have answered the question that's in the book, but let's take this just a little bit further and try to filter this data a little bit. So let's look at a where p.product name like and let's see if we can find bikes. So let's try it again and see what we come up with. And it looks like it's working. Oh, look at this. I have a bike computer, which means when I do a where on bike, I'm not getting just bikes. I'm getting anything that has bike in it, and I'm getting a bike computer. So this one's not working, but we can come up with some other ways to resolve this. How about like bike and product number not equal to 7. Let's see what that gives us. So I've eliminated the bike computers, but as I go through here, I see that the product number for my bikes appears to be 1, 2, 6, and 11. So I could try this a different way. How about if we try where od.product number in 1, 2, 6, 11. And I had 909 rows the first time. Let's see what we come up with this time. 909 rows. So we looked at a different way of doing this. We did where product number is equal to, our product name is like bike. We discovered that we have bike used in the names of other products. And so we did an and to eliminate those products. Or we could do an in and just select the products where the product number is one of the bike product numbers. So there's some options. Let's see what else we might be able to do with this. Let's see. How about we're looking at bikes and the amount owed is greater than 2,400. Let's see if that will work. It doesn't like the alias. It will, without declaring the alias, I can't use it until I get to the order by clause. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take this part, put it here, and let's give it another try. And are they greater than 2,400? So is the amount owed greater than 2,400? Let's do an order by and see if we can figure that out. So order by. Now I can use amount owed. It works in the order by clause. So they're all greater than 2,400. So what we've looked at in this particular example is identified the fields that I'm going to use and which table those fields come from. I understood the connection, the relationship between the three tables that I'm using. Orders to order details to products. I created a join that took orders to order details to products. I joined on the common field between orders and order details, which is order number, and the common field between order details and products, which is the product number. At that point, I'd actually finished the query as per the instructions in the book. But what we did is we went on and we took a look at, what if I want to add where to this? What if I just want to know the products that are bikes? And what if I want to look at the products that are greater than, the amount owed is greater than 2,400? We saw that I could not use the alias for my calculated field in the where clause, but I can use it in the order by clause. It's not really created until we get down to this point. Every step of the way, again, we checked our work to make sure that everything was working. We had a couple of errors which we corrected. I brought in the wrong field, which I corrected. But this was all captured through running the query, looking at the results, running the query, looking at the results. When we get into working with databases where there are thousands and thousands of records, constantly running the query may take time. And you'll get to a point where you won't need to do it as often. But here where we're just learning how to do this, running the query after every step will help you understand where your mistake is. Now remember, as I was adding the fields, I only added in the fields that belong to the tables that I had within my from at that point. Because if I were to add the product name in here and try to run this part, it's not going to work. Even by coming down further and trying to grab more of it, it's not going to work until I run enough of the query that I have the names of all of the tables from which my fields are drawn. So you notice I brought in the order fields first and the order table, and I ran the query. Then I brought in the fields from the order details table, joined the order details table, and ran the query. Then I brought in the field from the product table, joined the product table, and ran the query. Create a problem-solving methodology that helps you see just where your errors are.